Every time you open ChatGPT or Claude, you start from scratch. You paste in your brand guidelines, you explain who your audience is, you describe your tone of voice, and the output is decent. You use it, but then tomorrow you open the chat and do it all over again. Next week, the same thing. I have spent months doing exactly that. And at some point, I realized that I was spending more time briefing the AI than I was actually saving. And that's not what these tools are supposed to do. There's a better way, and it is not a new AI tool, it is a different way of setting up the one that you already have access to. I'm going to show you how to build a personal AI marketing assistant that lives on your computer, knows your brand permanently, and gets more useful over time. It's not a chatbot, it's not another subscription, it's a local setup that is genuinely yours. By the end of this video, you would have a working system, one that knows your company, your audience, and your brand voice, one that you can use today. And I have a free download in the description that will make this setup even faster for you. Grab the download link now while I set up on my own end, and we'll go through this together. Okay, so what are you going to need before you start? You need 2 tools and 1 account, and that's it. You need VS Code, and that is a free code editor from Microsoft. You don't let the word code editor put you off. You are not going to write any code in this video. VS Code is just a very good file manager with built-in terminal, and that's all we need it for. If you do not have it, there's a link in the description. Click on that link and follow the instructions to download it and install it on your computer. Installation takes just about 2 minutes. The second tool that you're going to need is Claude Code. Claude Code is Anthropic's official CLI tool, and Claude Code is how you make Claude run locally on your computer inside a specific folder with context that persists between sessions. And you will need to install it into your VS Code environment. Now, the best way to go about it is for you to go, once you've finished downloading your VS Code, to look something of this nature. What you will need to do is to go to the left hand side and scroll to where you find extensions. Click on the extensions and then search for Claude Code. My Claude Code is showing here already, and if I click on it, you would see that it's already installed, or it's already connected to my VS Code, so there's no need for me to install. You will need to do the same for yourself, for your own environment. Please note that you will need the pro version of your Claude Code, and if you have access to APIs, that would also work. If you already use Claude in your browser, you're likely to just it's just allow you to connect easily and seamlessly. The link is in the description to set it up upfront. Once you've done these 3 things, you are ready, and I will show you what next you would need to do. Now that you have downloaded your VS Code and installed your Claude Code or connected your Claude Code account, we're going to move into setting up the folders. I have created a folder structure and saved it in my GitHub repository for your use for this particular video. So click on the link in the description that says GitHub repo. It will take you to my GitHub page where you will find a button that says code. If you click on that button, you should find that a selection or a drop down there. Click on that drop down. That drop down should show you something that says zip. Click on that zip and you should download the folder as it is. Now, once that's been downloaded, that zip needs to be extracted. Once you have done that, you would have a complete folder, and that's the folder we're going to pull into our VS Code. Remember that I mentioned to you that VS Code is a very good file organizer and it's a terminal, so when you're making changes, just make changes directly into the folder. That's the folder we want to pull into here. So when you come back to your VS Code, you would see open folder. Click on that open folder. Look for the folder that you have just downloaded. I can see mine here. I'll click on the folder itself and I'll select it. Now, if you double click, if you're using Windows and you double click, it's going to open the folder that is inside the folder. So what you want to do, just click on it once and select the select folder button. That will bring us here. Now that we are here, you can see the folder here. That's the main folder, and there are 2 items inside the folder. There's a readme file, and then there's a .claude folder inside the main folder. Inside the readme file, you would see 4 items: agents, commands, skills, and a JSON file. Now, the main file that we'll be using here is the agents and the skills. The command is just to help VS Code know what we mean every time we run a particular command. So just leave that one as it is. I'm showing you this because it's important for you to see the number of folders that we have here, because we have 2 agents
So inside the agent folder, you will find 2 agents, content and strategy, and inside the skills folder, you will find 6 skills. So that should be what you're seeing in your own folder. This is intentional because right now there is no Claude.md file, there's no context folder, there's no project folder. The folders are practically empty except for these ones that's inside the .claude folder. And so this would help us to help you to build for yourself, because the files that we're going to create will be specific to you, based on your company, based on your brand and your audience, and it's not a generic template. So the system would ask you a bunch of questions, and that question, it will help you to set up the remaining folders that you need for this environment. I'm going to come back here and we're going to open the Claude chat inside VS Code. You come to the top towards the right, you should see the Claude logo. Click on that logo and it should open a chat window like this. Now this chat window is where you need to start the work. So I'm going to close the other windows and so that we can focus on this one. Now the first thing you want to do is to type in a /setup command. Run set up. So I've asked it to run the setup wizard, because there's a setup wizard which is a setup skill inside it, and so I think it's now going through the folder structure to look at what it is, and it's going to begin to ask me a bunch of new questions. So it's currently going through that. It's going through the setup. It's now currently reading through the setup MD, and it's saying, let me check if the Claude MD already exists in the project root. No Claude exists. I'm going to ask you 8 questions about your brand, and the more specific your answer, the better your assistant will understand your context. So let us start. It's asking me, what is my name? I'm going to answer it by saying Hannah, and it's going to ask more questions. Now as it's asking these questions, what I've done here is to use a completely hypothetical business, and I'm calling the business Meridian Consulting, and it's asking me what your company's name is and what does it do. Give me in 1 sentence. And so I'm going to have a bunch of answers here for the purpose of this video, so we can move as quickly as we can. Now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to enter. Now I've answered the questions in Meridian Consulting, a UK-based management consultancy helping mid-sized companies to improve their operational efficiency. Now it's going to the next question. It's asking, what is my role or job title? I'm going to tell it that it is marketing manager. It's going to ask me more questions, because I think there are about 8 questions here that it's going to ask me. So it's asking me, okay, what is your target? Who are your target audience? And describe their job titles. Is asking me to pick the type of, the kind of companies that they work at and the main problems that they face. I'm going to answer that question. Operational directors, CFOs, manufacturing companies with employees about 50 to 500 who are losing money to inefficient processes. It's going to ask me some more questions. I think it's the 5th question. It's saying, would you describe your brand voice? Give me 3 to 5 words or short phrases. I would say we would like our brand voice is clear, direct, expert, no management jargon. Sending that. So the 6th question is that it's asking me, is there anything you never want in your content? For example, certain words, tone you hate, phrases your competitors overuse. Now I'm going to say, I don't want buzzwords like synergy, leverage, seamless. No vague superlative like world class or industry leading. No American spelling because the business is in the UK. I'm going to say no M dashes or double dashes. What else do I want to say again? No emojis. Okay, that's it. So I'm answered this question. Let's send that off. So it's asking, do you have active campaigns or marketing priorities right now? List them briefly. So I'm going to say I have a Q3 lead generation campaign targeting CFOs and a monthly thought leadership newsletter. And so I'm going to send that off as well. When you are filling yours, you can go as deep and as specific as you need to, because the more specific you are, the more everything this system does is tailored to your context. So it's important that you do that. And then it's asking which channels are you mainly marketing on. For example, LinkedIn. So I would say LinkedIn company page, email, newsletter, and events. So these are the 8 questions in total. So now it's now beginning to work. Okay, so the Claude.md file just appeared here. Recall that it wasn't there before, so it wasn't here before. It has created projects, that created a Claude.md file. So it's created a bunch of context folder as well. So right now, it has said your marketing assistant is all set up. It has created a Claude.md brain file. This is where the brain really is. It has created a context for brand voice. So if you click on context here, you should see brand voice, and you see campaigns, you see target audience. If you click on target audience, you can see the primary target audience here, what they care about and what they should do. So in your own case, it will be dependent on what it is that you have told it. Remember that we answered just a few questions, some of them were just one lines, and it has gone ahead to populate all of this. Let's specifically look at the Claude.md file in particular. So this Claude.md file has a lot of context, a lot of more information. This information is more detailed. Each time you give it an assignment or something for it to do, it goes through the context here. So all the context that you have here, it has listed it in the brain, so that the brain is like a memory, so that it remembers who you are and what you do. It's asking my name, the role, it has noted it down, what you help with, also what the system help with. It has listed all of these things. You can come here to come and increase this if you want. There are other things you wanted to do, but like I said, I will be looking at this in subsequent videos, but right now we're keeping this as simple as we can. And I have the bunch of rules that we gave it, so he has even added a lot more. We have the commands and all of that. So this is what the brain looks like. This brain is really short because the content we have is really lightweight for now. So that's what it is.
Quick one, if this has been useful so far, please subscribe. One video a week, all practical, no hype.
Now let's talk about using the system. Let's actually use it. Let's tell it, now that the thing is set up, it has told us that the system is ready. Let us actually use the system. Let it do something for us. Remember that the hypothetical business is called Meridian Consulting. So let's tell it to create a LinkedIn post for us, without saying anything more beyond it just creating a LinkedIn post about something. So that's the first task we are going to give it. I'm going to paste this task here that says write a LinkedIn post for Meridian Consulting company page about our the audit service launching next month. Focus on the problem it solves. Keep it under 200 words. That's all I said, and I'm going to send that over. Now we're going to see it go to work. For example, you're going to check the brand voice. It's going to check the target audience first. So it's looking at all of these files first before it answers the question. Right now, it has created the answer for us. It says most mid-market businesses know they have inefficiencies. They just don't know exactly where. Processes that work for 50 people break, and It just stays to the 200 word mark that we gave to it. Now, what is also interesting is that it's not just in the chat here where you have to copy and paste later, because this is a chat, right? It has gone ahead to save it in the folder. So if you see here, it says saved to projects, LinkedIn and all of that. So you can click on this and it's opened it here. Now on the left hand side, you can see that this is it. So under projects, LinkedIn, and then this is that particular post. It has put a date there, so we know the date it was created, we know the page it's for, and we know what it is that the brief that it got. And so you don't have to always copy and paste. You can have it here and come back. And remember that all of these folders are in your computer, they are locally stored. So sometimes you don't even have to open VS Code in order to access this. Although if it's a .md file, you might need to open VS Code to be able to actually be able to see it. But all you need to do, you know that it's already there. You don't have to prompt it again or start looking through messages or chats in order to find something that it has created for you before. Let's also look at tone of voice. So because the tone of voice, we had said that we want it to be direct, we don't want jargons. If you look at the content here, it doesn't have any of those jargons. It doesn't say I'm excited to share that, or I'm thrilled to announce, or we are thrilled to announce about something. All of that LinkedIn speak is not there. It has tailored the content specifically to the brand voice that was specified at the point of setup. Let's give it a strategy work to do. Let's ask it to come up with a campaign. So we had mentioned before that one of our top priorities is that we have a Q3 campaign coming up. So here I've said you should write a brief for a campaign targeting CFOs at a manufacturing firm, and the goal is to have 10 discovery call bookings, and then 3 email sequences plus LinkedIn support. Now let's send this out and see what it comes up with. In the meantime, I'm going to close this so we have more space to work with. So right now it's reading through the campaigns. There's a campaign ND earlier. I'm not sure if it could. Let's see where it goes. Yeah, under the context. So it's reading through the campaigns and it's using that campaign. What it's finding there, it's going to use it to design a new brief. So can you see now it's now creating the brief. So here is a brief. It says 10 discovery calls, 10 bookings. I'm going to click on this and it has a full brief here. So you can see it on the side here. It has an objective, 10 discovery calls. That's what we want to do by the end of quarter 3. And then primary target audience, CFOs at manufacturing firms, the profile of the people. So it has created a profile for CFOs. They're responsible for cost controls and margin improvements. They are aware that inefficiencies exist but lacks a clear picture of where, and they are skeptical of consultants. So it has gone further to give a lot more context and a lot more description of who the persona of the target audience, and the key message that wants to be communicated. I mean, this is what any marketing person would be working on if they're working on a brief. So imagine having something that already knows your context and can immediately come up with a brief. Now, like I said in the first task that we gave to it, this content is on your computer. You don't have to copy and paste it anywhere. Whenever you need to use it, you can come back and tell it what it is that you want to do. I would have shown you how to turn this into, say, a PDF or a Word document, but that goes beyond the scope of today's video. Please feel free to inform me other things that you want your environment to be able to do in the comments, and then I can factor that into the next video as we build on this. Let's give it one more assignment to do. This time around, I wanted to plan for a LinkedIn content calendar, for example. Since we are primarily on LinkedIn, I wanted to create a content plan for the month of July with about 3 posts per week anchored to this campaign that we have, this lead generation campaign that we are currently working on. I'm going to send that out to it, and yeah, it will continue to do that. So it's while it is working, it will create a full month content calendar across 3 posts a week, and then it will map it to the active campaigns. So it will know exactly what that we have quarter 3 campaign going on, the newsletter that we mentioned earlier, and this time around you will not need to explain anything to it. It's just going through the context that you've already provided. So that is what this does. It's quite easy to use. In fact, I think for you to learn more about what you're doing, this should be your current work environment. If you wanted to continue to learn, it needs to learn and continue to update the context, continue to update the Claude or Claude.md file. And for you to do that, it needs more context, and that context only can only happen if you continue to work inside of this. So while we're waiting for you to finish up the work, alright, there it is. It has given us a link somewhere, and it's giving us, it says 6 to 10 July awareness campaign, 1 lands in campaign, and just as a summary. Now let's come here and look at it. That's actually giving us the content. So week 1, it said the idea is to drive awareness, and it says warm up the audience on operational inefficiency before the campaign email lands. And so here it's talked about Monday 6th of July. It's talked about thought leadership. The cost of inefficiency is almost never where CFOs expect it to be, and the hook, and then the format. So when time comes, you can actually copy this and put it back into it and tell it to create a LinkedIn post for you, or create an email newsletter. And when you ask it to do that, it comes back, depending on what assignment you give to it, it comes into the agents, or so agents has content here, or it goes into the skill. So it identifies the skill. So if it's a LinkedIn, you ask LinkedIn post, you have to create it. It will invoke this skill, and it will use it to create that LinkedIn post. If it is an email that you want to write, it will invoke the email writer skill, depending on whatever it is that you ask it to do. If you want to create a full content calendar, it will invoke the content calendars. So it's just giving us an example of what it is that it's going to do. It has already planned it out. So what you need to do is just to follow all of that. Now, the agents. Let's talk about the agents, right? There's a content agent and a strategy agent, and they are here to help you to create something. So for example, if you don't want to remember which skill to call for or which task, you can use the agent instead. The agent will go back into the skill and determine what skills it needs to invoke and just write it. So for example, if you say content agent, you can just say content agent, write a post about our pricing change, and then the agent will work and it will go and call the skill as it needs to. If you say strategy agents, write a brief for our quarter 4 push, for example, it will go and call the brief writer and it will do it for you. And so that is what this is. So think of skills as specialists and agents as the receptionist who routes your requests to the right one, to the right skill. So for example, you can bypass the agent entirely and call the skills directly, whichever way works for you. The idea is so that because as time goes on, you have a lot of skill and you might not be sure which one will do the job better. So if you call the agent instead, the agent just responds to you and does the job for you. So that's what this is about. Let me know if this works. By now, you should have your own environment tailored to your own context.
What you have just built is a marketing assistant that knows your brand, your context permanently. It does not forget who you are. It does not forget your brand between sessions. It doesn't give you generic outputs, and it doesn't need a briefing every single time. 3 things to remember. One is that the brain file is claude.md. That is what makes this different from a standard chat. It loads automatically every session. Number 2 is that the context file are yours to maintain. They're on your computer, so it's important that you keep them current. Keep campaigns.md current, and the content planning will get better every month. Number 3 is that the setup takes about 5 minutes. If you've downloaded the starter pack and walked through this video with me, you're already done. The download link is in the description. It's free, no email required. If this was useful, again, please subscribe. I put one video a week about AI tools and automation and marketing and business. Nothing theoretical, things that I actually use. I want to know what the first task you would run with your own setup is going to be. Also, it will be good to let me know what you would like your setup to be able to do. Additional functionalities that you would like your own setup to be able to do for you. I have deliberately built this without having any external APIs, so the functionalities are limited, but I intend to improve on the functionalities of this particular build in subsequent videos. So tell me in the comments what you would like your own setup to have, and I can add that to the plan for my next video on this one. Thank you, and see you in the next one.